What is up, everybody? How are you all doing? I hope you are all doing great during this time. Sorry, I have been kind of on a hiatus lately. It's been a while since I've had an episode. The last episode was, of course, National Treasure Book of Epstein with my Uncle Matt, which was a blast to do. Again, go check him out. Don't Burn the House Down. That's his channel here on YouTube. He's starting to take off, and he's got some really good content over there. A bunch of random do-it-yourself stuff, so make sure to go check him out. And I'm glad to be back. I got my new microphone that I've only used one time on the show, so I'm excited to use that as well. I'm excited to dive into this great list of topics that we've got here. So today, you are all just in time to chat, and it is a very DC heavy episode. So with that out of the way, I guess we can just get started with topic number one. And this question actually comes from a viewer. He asked if, in my personal opinion, if I think that DC is in a better place, in a better position right now, financially, business wise, than Marvel. And this is it's a multi-layered question, but in short, I definitely think DC is in a much better position than Marvel. So, what I mean by that is Marvel is on the heels, is just coming off of the success of Avengers Endgame. Not just, obviously, it's been over a year. Hey, Knight Rider 691, thanks for tuning into this episode. Glad you're here. But, Marvel slash Disney just released the biggest film of all time with Avengers Endgame. So I'm not saying they're in a bad spot at all. We just witnessed the highest grossing film of all time with Avengers Endgame. So Disney and Marvel are not hurting whatsoever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as of right now, in this point in time, I think DC and Warner Brothers is in a much better position than Disney, and here's why. Marvel's slate, upcoming films, you got Black Widow, which obviously I think is going to do pretty well. You've got The Eternals, you've got Shang-Chi, and you've got some other ones, a ways out. You've got a new Spider-Man, you've got, these Ghost Rider, Blade, those films that aren't in huge production yet. But not a lot of people have heard of Shang-Chi. Not a lot of people have heard of The Eternals. Exactly. Knight Rider says DC has so much to come up with in the future. They absolutely do. DC has a DC Fandome coming up. I mean, Justice Con, that was like a month ago, it was a fan event put on by fans for the fans. That event on YouTube got more attention, got more views than the entirety of Comic-Con at home, which is huge because Comic-Con is such a big deal. It usually is. But Justice Con was marketed so much better, and it just shows that DC has so much left to offer us. I love the current state of the DCEU, and I think they're going in even a better direction now that the Snyder Cut's coming. Sorry. You've got DC Fandom coming August 22nd, which is slated to be a massive, massive, massive success. I will definitely tune in 100%. I'll be there for the Snyder Cut reveal. They're going to have Dwayne Johnson there. And that's another thing. Not a lot of people have heard of Black Adam either. But everyone on the face of the planet has heard of Dwayne Johnson, who is playing Black Adam. Jumanji would not have done near as well if Dwayne Johnson wasn't in it. Ann Mulvier, super stoked for DC Fandom and super stoked for the Snyder Cut. Greetings. Oh, hey, man. What's up? Yeah, I'm super stoked for the Snyder Cut, too. DC Fandom is going to be a great event. They've got marketing for the Snyder Cut to show. They've got stuff for Black Adam to show. They've got a ton of stuff up their sleeve. Wonder Woman 1984 is coming out, which is going to be a huge success, I hope. I have no doubt that Patty Jenkins is going to be a massive success. Knight Rider says, I hope they announce Harley Quinn Season 3. I actually have not watched that show. I should. I know I should. I have DC Universe, so there's no reason that I shouldn't. But, yeah. I think they should, if it's a success, if the show is doing well, which I assume it is. It's gotten fantastic reviews. But, anyway. I'll answer more of those questions later on in the episode, if there's still more. But, yeah. DC, you've got Wonder Woman, which did over $800 million worldwide, the first one did. You got the Snyder Cut, which is quite possibly one of the most anticipated films in history. We were fighting for it for 2.5 years on Twitter and Instagram and Reddit nonstop, and they finally gave in, and now we're getting the Snyder Cut, which is huge. We're getting the first official teaser trailer at Fandome, and DC and Warner Brothers and HBO Max, they're all doing a fantastic job at marketing DC Fandome. And those are the main reasons I think DC is in a much better place than Marvel. Marvel, of course, they have Black Widow, which may cross $1 billion. I'm not quite sold on that yet. But the problem with Black Widow is same thing with Han Solo. They have the character in a movie, and they have that character play a pretty decently sized role, but then they kill her off. That's a big problem. They should have given Black Widow a movie a long, long time ago. Long time ago. Black Widow is an incredibly deep character, and they shouldn't have killed her off. I shouldn't say that. I have no problem with them killing Black Widow off because it fit the story, and it showed the consequences. But they should have given her her own movie before the end of Phase 2. I think in the middle or end of Phase 2, there should have been a Black Widow film. She's such a deep, layered, and complex character that I don't see a reason for them have not to given her their own movie, but they didn't, and that's what it is now. But now we know there are no stakes. We know that she doesn't die, obviously, because she died in Endgame. So I think a lot of the stakes are gone, and that's a big problem for me, is them killing off a character and then releasing a movie about them when they're dead, And maybe that's just narrow-minded of me, but I don't see the appeal in that because she's dead, and I love the character. I wish she would have been done more justice. I love Scarlett Johansson. I love the character of Black Widow. I just wish they would have done more with her. But that's essentially why I think DC is in a much better place. They've got Fandome coming. They've got the Snyder Cut alone, I think, is a pretty valid reason that DC is in a better place. They know the fans want it, and now with HBO Max, the fans are going to get it. And with a new aspect ratio, you're going to get way more picture on the top and the bottom of the picture. It's going to be great. DC is in an amazing place right now, and that's really a relief to say because DC's not had it easy. They did not have the smooth, easy success that Marvel did in the beginning. They had a rocky start, but I think they're finally starting to find their footing. And I think DC Fandome is one of the greatest things they could have done because, Marvel's not having an event. Marvel wasn't even at Comic-Con. So I think DC having their own event is huge. And I'm so excited for Fandome. So question is here, guys. What do you guys think? Are you excited for Fandome? Will you be tuning in to the 24-hour event? Do you think DC's in a better place than Marvel, or do you think Marvel's in a better place? They always have. Do you think that? Jump in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. And with that down, we can move on to topic number 2, and that is that Patty Jenkins has announced that Wonder Woman 3, which, we don't know the official title yet, but it's going to be her last film. Now, I didn't think that the first Wonder Woman was a perfect film. I think it was a ton of fun. It was a great addition to the DCEU. It's among the higher up. It's among the best DCEU films in my opinion. They used too much slow-mo in some spots. Whatever. The action was fun. The story was fun. The lore and the mythology was amazing. Gal Gadot played Wonder Woman and Diana Prince to a T. Patty Jenkins, it had Patty Jenkins written all over it. Her directing style is so distinct and so unique and so vibrant, if that makes any sense. The way that she moves the camera around and she zooms in and zooms out and she uses the colors huge. Like, the Wonder Woman suit pops in that film and it looks fantastic. And the CGI looked good. But I think this is a good move. I think that Patty Jenkins can do her Wonder Woman trilogy, which that's good because now, that's confirmed that there will be a Wonder Woman 3. But I think we let Patty Jenkins do her Wonder Woman trilogy, and then she can say goodbye. I think that's this may be an unpopular opinion, but one of the best things about Star Wars, in my opinion, was the differing in the directors. You had Rian Johnson, you have J.J. Abrams, you have George Lucas, you have a ton of other people in the original trilogy that I don't remember what their names are. I'm sorry. But I think that's what makes Star Wars so good, is that you get these different visions. And obviously, I love Patty Jenkins and her vision for the character. Obviously, she's amazing. She understands the lore. She understands the source material, the comics, what makes Wonder Woman so great. She understands that. And I'm not saying I want Patty Jenkins. I don't want Patty Jenkins to leave. But I'm saying if you are going to send her out, with her ending her trilogy. So that's essentially it for that topic. Wonder Woman 3 will be Unfortunately, Patty. Okay, I think we're back. Can you guys still hear me in the comments? Can you in the chat? Can you let me know if you can hear me? Sorry, I had a little jolt or something in my internet there. All right, they said we can hear me. All right, awesome, sweet. So yeah, so I just got done with topic number 2, and back to topic number 3 is that Henry Cavill, obviously he plays Superman in the DCEU, he is not slated to go to DC Fandome, and that shocked me. That genuinely shocked me. That shocked a lot of people. That shocked some of my friends, some of my family. They were like, why would Henry Cavill, sorry, why would Henry Cavill not show up? He's kind of like Iron Man for the MCU. He's kind of the face of the DCEU, much like Iron Man is for the MCU. And that's the thing. Henry Cavill, the guy who plays Superman, was there with Zack Snyder, with Zack and Deborah Snyder, the day he announced the Snyder Cut. So now you're going to tell all the fans, put out the guest list for all of the people, all of the celebrities that are going to go to Fandome, and Henry Cavill's not going to be there? So put on your tinfoil hat with me for a second, and let's discuss, let's think, let's fantasize. I think Henry Cavill's going to be there. I think, now obviously tinfoil hat. This is all, I don't have any insider information on this. I don't have an inside source. This is all me just speculating and hoping for the best. I think they're going to do what they did with Disney with Ewan McGregor when they announced the Obi-Wan show. I think they're going to be wrapping up DC Fandome, and they're going to say, by the way, you want to come out here for a second? And Henry Cavill walks on stage, and they say something like, are you going to be in the Black Adam movie? Why, yes, I am. Are you also going to be in the Flash movie, which is now officially titled Flashpoint Paradox? Yes, I am. Are you also getting your next solo movie? Why, yes, I am. And that would explode everyone, the media, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything would implode in on itself. The DC fandom would implode in on itself. If we got an announcement, I think he's going to surprise the fans to hype everyone even more for the Snyder Cut. Knight Rider 691, I think you are absolutely right. I think they're going to wrap it up, and they're going to be like, all right, guys, we're done. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great event. And they're going to bring him out, and he's going to be there and talk with Snyder or something about the Snyder Cut. And I hope we get a Man of Steel 2 or another Superman solo film, because Henry Cavill deserves it. He is by far my favorite Superman. Obviously, you saw my video essay on why Snyder's Superman is perfect. The reason he's perfect is that he's not. But I think that would be one of the greatest things for the DCEU right now, is another Superman film, because Henry Cavill Superman is the face of the DCEU. And I think before AT&T took over, which if you didn't know, that AT&T owns Warner Media now, and they're the reason that we got the Snyder Cut. So AT&T all the way. They were trying to shove Batman and Superman under the rug. Not AT&T, Warner Media before. They were trying to say, oh, look, Harley Quinn, look, Birds of Prey, which I loved Birds of Prey. But they're trying to say, look at the Birds of Prey, look at Wonder Woman, look at Aquaman, look at Shazam. Don't think about Batman and Superman. They're still there, but they're not getting any more movies. Look at these guys. Look at Shazam. Look at Aquaman. And while I love Aquaman and Shazam, I love Batman and Superman more. So I think now that AT&T took over, Knight Rider, the DC Universe started with him, just like Iron Man in the MCU. Yeah, absolutely. Superman, Henry Cavill Superman was the first. He was the first hero. He was the first solo film, the first film in their DCU, in the universe. So I think him only getting one film, I mean, you can count, like Snyder said, you can count Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League. You could count that as a trilogy. But getting another standalone Man of Steel film would be absolutely amazing. I think Man of Steel is one of the most criminally underrated, not just comic book films, but I think Man of Steel is one of the most criminally underrated films in history. A lot of people had a problem with it. I had very few. I think it was a beautiful film with great themes and symbolisms and action and character development and character depth and somberness and sadness and a little bit of humor sprinkled in there. I just think it's a fantastic film. But that is essentially what I think. I think not having Henry Cavill there, and obviously, you're going to have Ezra Miller's Flash there. You're going to have Zachary Levi's Shazam. You're going to have Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. You're going to have all of these cast members. I'm assuming Cyborg, maybe not Cyborg. I'm not sure if Ray Fisher was going to be there. But I think not having Henry Cavill there would be a massive, massive misstep and a massive mistake. I don't want that to happen for Fandome because I think DC Fandome will and has the potential to be one of the biggest virtual events ever. I think it is going to blow everyone away. I absolutely cannot wait. Are you guys excited for Fandome? I absolutely know I am. I think he's going to be there. I really think they're trying to trick us. They released the guest list and he wasn't there. If he's not there, you guys can come at me and attack me and be, "Oh my gosh, you were wrong, Justin." But like I said, I don't have an inside source. I don't have a mole at Warner Media telling me that, "Oh, Henry Cavill's actually going to be there." I don't know that. I'm just saying what I think. I put on my tinfoil hat for a second, and I'm thinking that. I think Henry Cavill will be there, and I think they're going to come with a Man of Steel 2 announcement. I hope they do. Man, that would be so cool. The DCEU would be... The DCEU is already in the best spot it's ever been. Just coming off the success of Wonder Woman, the success of Aquaman, the success of Shazam, the success of Birds of Prey. I will say that because Birds of Prey's reviews were very positive. It didn't make a ton of money, but the reviews were outstanding. Or not outstanding, I guess. It got like a 78, so they were very good. But DC's in a great place, and I absolutely think Henry Cavill is going to be at DC Fandome, whether they want to announce that beforehand or not. So now, I guess we do have a few questions we can ask. So I have 2 viewers right now. That's great. If anyone has any questions you can ask in the chat now. I'm not going to take too long, but okay, where was that one before? Oh yeah, is the Snyder Cut going to be the new canon? Knight Rider 691 asks. And no, it is not. Unfortunately, Justice League 2017 will continue to be the Justice League, the canon Justice League that took place. Zack Snyder told Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer. She has a channel on YouTube. She's great. I love her. She's a great journalist. But he said, unfortunately, there are several movies after Justice League. They're not going to erase it. It'll kind of be, he phrased it like this. He said it would kind of be like his own Snyderverse. I know. Yeah, it's sad. He said, I don't know why they don't. They've only mentioned it like twice. They mentioned it in Aquaman, and it was one time. Mara said, "You took down Steppenwolf without blah, 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 blah." So you could very easily replace Justice League 2017, but I think just to avoid confusion, I think they're just doing what they're doing now. We're lucky to get the Snyder Cut in the first place, but Zach phrased it very, very well. He said, think about it in the sense of the DCEU taking place over here with Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman, all them. But over here, you have Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, Zack Snyder's Justice League. You have his Man of Steel trilogy. You have the Snyderverse, the Snyder trilogy, which is what it'll be at the time. It'll be Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, and then it'll be Zack Snyder's Justice League. It'll be his trilogy, which I wasn't a fan of at first. I really, really, really wanted them to replace 2017 Justice League. I think, in my head, I'm going to ignore Justice League, which is what I call it, because Joss Whedon came in and butchered it. I'm going to view Zack Snyder's Justice League as the canon Justice League, even though it technically won't be. It won't make it won't make a difference, because we already know the movies that come after it: Shazam, Aquaman, Birds of Prey. They barely mention. They barely mention the events of Justice League 2017 whatsoever. So I think if you were to just imagine that Zack Snyder Justice League is the canon one, I think that'd be fine. That's what I'm going to do. But according to Zack Snyder, as of right now, they're not planning on replacing 2017 Justice League, which is really unfortunate. But okay, Knight Rider 691. Would you give Jared Leto another chance? I would absolutely give Jared Leto another chance as the Joker. I think he really got screwed over with the studio again coming in and cutting out a ton of his scenes. I think what we saw of him was great. I really, really did like what he did with the character. He was very different. In my opinion, there is no set version of the Joker. You know, each actor who plays the Joker, they bring something different to the table. There's no set in stone. You know, with a lot of superheroes, they have you have this checklist where, okay, he has to follow this moral code, and he has to look like this, sound like this, talk like this. Yeah, exactly. You love the style of his Joker. Me too. I thought he was very different, and I thought he was very eccentric, which is what I really liked. Kind of like Mark Hamill's Joker. He was very, yes, brutal, unpredictable. Absolutely. He was very brutal. He was very unpredictable too. He's very jumpy, and he's very eccentric, and he was a gangster, and that's what I liked. You know, that's what I liked about his take on the Joker. So I think that's going to do it for today's show, guys. Thank you guys in the chat for tuning in. That was awesome. I could interact with you guys more. I will start going live more. I tried going live earlier, and my stupid internet went out, so that was a ton of fun. But thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Just in Time to Chat, where you were all just in time to chat to talk about DC and among other stuff today. So tune into the next episode, and I will see you guys all next time.